never done it because he says, I've never said anything about him, and trust me, there's a lot of subject matter there for me to make fun of Rand Paul. Yeah. So, you don't play a game against somebody that was born that way.
Yeah.
This guy was born to troll the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think Trump trolled his brother? You don't think Trump upset his dad and his mom? You don't think Trump's been that guy since he was 6, 7, 8, 10 years old?
Of course.
So here's the point. If you go up against manipulators, okay, who know how to manipulate better than you, and you try to beat them, they've been doing this for 50 years. I was on a call with a guy that's a very well-known guy in media this weekend. We had an hour and a half call together about Iran. And he says, I don't understand. He says, look, you have to realize one thing we're better than the Republicans, the Democratic side, we know how to make a lot of noise. We know how to make a problem that's a 3 make it seem like a 9. I mean, literally, the Democratic Party is LeBron James when he flops. That's exactly what they are. Right. The Democratic Party and LeBron James, they're identical.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen these clips where
and they get paid very handsomely to do it?
Jason Tatum just goes this way, doesn't even touch LeBron. LeBron all of a sudden goes like this, gets a foul, they're going the other way, right? Mm-hmm. That's the Democratic Party.
He'd be a great soccer player.
But you know what Michael Jordan was? Michael Jordan was a Republican the way he played. You had to really hurt him for him to act like he was hurt. He's not going to show it to you. That's in the DNA. You can't change that DNA on how it is. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Because one's a victim and one's a victor at the end of the day.
But I got to tell you, though, there are a lot of people that voted 95% support what Trump is doing. That's the highest ever. There's some people right now that are waiting saying, is anyone going to get arrested? What did Nick Shirley do? Is anybody going to get arrested? Are you going to walk in and guys coming out getting arrested? Is that visual going to be taking place? That's what some of these guys want to see. And I think it needs to happen. And the process, unfortunately, when you're doing it legally is a lot slower than when you're doing it illegally. Meaning, if you want to illegally get Trump to take a mugshot, it's easy. If you want to legally get Trump to take a mugshot, it's not fast. It's slower. They're trying to do it the legal way. I think they're going to, they're eventually going to get to it, but it may be too late. It may be too late and they won't be able to do anything for it. Anyways, let's get to the next story here. Next story I want to get to is with Iran, okay? Trump calls for new leadership in Iran, says sick man Ayatollah Khamenei has made nation worst place to live. Rob, if you got that, if you want to play that clip. And then there is a story that goes with it. Is this it? Yes. Go ahead, Rob.
Today, the president said it's time to look for new leadership in Iran.
There was new calm on the streets of Tehran this weekend, but evidence of the recent unrest and violent crackdown remains. Today, Iran's Ayatollah said, we consider the U.S. president guilty, both for the casualties, for the damages, and for the slander he made against the Iranian nation. President Trump punching back, calling for an end to Khamenei's rule, adding the man is a sick man who should run his country properly and stop killing people. The exchange follows nationwide protests and a violent government crackdown. Thousands have been killed. President Trump had threatened to take action against the regime if it did not stop killing civilians, but on Friday praised it for sparing.
You signed up for an app that automatically buys Nancy Pelosi's stocks?
Yeah, I have it too.
Oh my God. What?
I have it too. So here's what happened.
Is it autopilot?
I picked, yes. I don't know free ads, but I picked
hangings. They didn't hang anyone. They canceled the hangings.
And this week, satellite images showed the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, the Abraham Lincoln, which was rerouted to the Middle East amid those ongoing tensions with Iran. Meanwhile, the White House says the president has a range of options at his disposal. Jarika?
Willie J.
Okay, so he's got a range of options at his disposal. The Iranian government came out, and they've had the internet down since the 8th. They're saying the protesting has calmed down a bit. Internet's been down since the 8th. They're saying it's going to be down till March 20th, which is Eid al-Nowruz, the Iranian New Year, is what they're going to be doing. The counts you're seeing is anywhere between 3,300, 3,500, which is a low number, upwards of 16,500. You even hear some people talking about 50,000. 300,000 people have been arrested, injured. There's a lot of mess going on in Iran right now. But, Vinny, how do you process the fact that the president, it seemed like they were about to attack. Nothing. Elon, I'll come to you first. How do you process the fact that a lot of Iranians are thinking President Trump's about to come in and do something about it, and then it seems like they took a step back? What do you think is going on there?
So we've seen Trump be unpredictable in the past and then suddenly take action when no one expects it. But if Trump does not take action after the words he spoke, I think by the Iranian perspective, the people of Iran, it'll be perceived as a massive, massive betrayal. I think that we don't actually know how bad it is. The regime is literally stopping the information from getting out. I heard reports of them using chemical warfare against their own people. There's just disgusting things happening, and it makes us look weak. If he comes out and he says, we're not going to allow this to happen, and then allows it to happen. So that's my main concern there. I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see freedom for the Iranian people. These opportunities don't come often. It stabilizes the entire Middle East. There is a massive benefit, not just for the Iranian people, but for the entire world. So if he's going to come out and talk strong, I hope he takes strong action. Again, he's unpredictable, so who knows what he's actually going to do.
So let's discuss what Iran is good at and what they're not good at. Iran sucks at winning actual wars. The Islamic Republic of Iran, what's the last war they won against Iraq 30 years ago? So they suck at that. They certainly lost to Israel. That's without a question. They're pretty good at proxy warring. All right, let's fund Hamas. Let's fund the Houthis. Let's fund Hezbollah. They're pretty good at that. But you know what they're the best at? Killing their own people. That's their thing. So let's not lose sight of that. Iran is a Islamic thug-like regime, and the people that pay the price the most are their own people.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's their neighbors, and then beyond that, it's the world. So you hear terms like paper tiger, they haven't done anything. They're the typical guy who talks trash. I'm going to meet me outside, bro. I'll kick your ass. And then you go outside and you kick his ass. And then the fight's over, and then they go home and they tweet, I will bring the enemy to its knees. Nobody believes you. Unfortunately, I don't know how they're going to take this guy out. They may need to wait a few more years until he's literally dead, because he'll be 90-something years old. That's unfortunately
I think
reality.
you made a great point. Trump is unpredictable, and I learned on this podcast. I'm talking to these guys. Trump is like, everybody knows what they're talking about because of what CNN or somebody told us. You don't know what he's really doing. We don't know the conversations that are happening behind the scenes. Maybe, just maybe, he doesn't want another, besides everything that's happening in Minnesota and everything, the last thing he would want is, because especially with what happened with Venezuela, another. We're going in and we're doing something else. That's one. And then number two, Pat, how much do you think of this has to do with him not thinking that Reza Pahlavi is the leader that could, because once they go in, guys, once we go in, Pat, they need the leader. You have to have somebody there. And from the comments he made last week, I think right now he's like, oh, damn it, that's not the guy. So we can't go in there to help, and then who's going to be propped up? Another Khomeini? No, they can't do it. So I think there's a couple of factors at play, but I do think one of the main ones is the leader isn't the leader that they thought could run the show. That could be one of the moments where he's like, okay, guys, we need to chill out. Try to support them as much as we can. But, dude, with them killing 16,000 to 50,000, this isn't a joke. They need the help. But
Tom, I'm going to come to you here. I want to read this first. So Reza Pahlavi implores Trump to follow through on Iran strikes. This is a political story. Pleaded Friday with Trump to follow through on his promise to strike the Islamic Republic. The U.S. should conduct a surgical strike on the Iranian regime, parliamentary, paramilitary assets to weaken Iran's government and its ability to crack down protesters. Pahlavi told reporters in Washington, where he's made the rounds in recent days to garner support and position himself as the person to lead a transition in Iran should it fall. Trump has been watching the protests closely and at first pledged very strong action should Iran execute protesters, but Trump's immediate threat appears to have disappeared after Gulf Arab state and Israel have lobbied against military action, at least right away. President Trump did say if the regime were to hit the Iranian people hard, they will face serious consequences. Tom, where are you at with this?
So when Trump told the Iranian people, look, I've got your back. This goes back 2 weeks ago, right? Exactly 2 weeks ago. He said, I've got your back. And instead...
At Vistaprint, we print signs so people can see your brand up close. But we also print signs so that people can see your business here.
And then we're getting numbers out that people have died. Thousands and thousands injured, critically injured. And what Trump is saying, well, he didn't hang anybody yesterday. They didn't do the hangings. They were going to do 800 hangings or something like that. They didn't do those. So that is a good thing. And then he backed off. Man, I'm old enough to remember Cuba, and when JFK was supporting the Cuban rebels, supporting what was going to go, and at the last minute, he pulled air support back, and it led to the Bay of Pigs for the poor Cuban freedom fighters. And I worry that Trump, he's a leader, he's a driver, but I worry he's kind of in a place right now. You pulled back on the attack. A lot of people in the Middle East said, be careful, Iran's irrational. They may do something even crazier than normal. Yeah. Maybe we don't want to do this. So I understand the lobbying he got from Israel and certain Arab states. But there's also this angle. He said he was going to be there, and now he's kind of pulled back. And I worry that he's in a bit of a spot. What do you think?
You worry he's in a bit of a spot like what?
Yeah, because he made a commitment. He says, I'm going to be behind you. And now what he's saying is, well, nobody got hung yesterday. Yeah, but it looks like at least by consensus, 12,000 people have been killed.
So why would he not do anything? Why would he not keep a promise?
Was he convinced that Iran, in their destabilization right now, would be even more militarily irrational than normal? I think he got convinced of that.
What else do you think it is?
I think, you come in and you break up the party, but you have to leave an adult at the house. And I don't know if he's got that person.
Yeah, you can't just
to me,
go
when I watch this and I think about what's going on,
what are we going to do?
One is,
and people just,
reports that came to him from the Middle East, even Turkey and some of these guys saying, listen, you guys, I don't want to, you may not want to attack yet. Even Israel saying they're not ready yet to make the attack. Okay, let's just say that's one. The intel comes in. He trusts what some of that information is going to come in. Is Mossad giving him a report that, maybe it's a different kind of a report? He's got a guy on the inside, Lindsey Graham, how bad do you think Lindsey Graham wants to see an attack?
Oh, he was so upset that he came out of what he's like, listen, I think we should have done. He's a war hawk.
Okay.
Yeah. Words can't describe it.
He
has such a Jones for an attack.
Okay, now watch this. How many clips have you seen with Lindsey Graham being with the president in the last 30 days, 60 days?
One.
A ton.
Oh, well, I saw one. Two days ago.
He's on Air Force One, standing 4 feet from him.
That's right.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, he's with Reza Pahlavi. He's talking to the Iranian people. Hey, we should do this. Hey, here's what we should make America. We should make what do you call it? Iran great again. So he's kind of like becoming that face of so he's what I like is that Trump has people in his ears that are saying don't do it. He's got people in his ears that are saying do it. Then he's got the American people that are the anti, they're non-interventionists like a J.D. Vance that's probably saying what? Let's avoid this. Let's not do it. Rubio's probably a gamer that wants to go through with it. Maybe he's sitting there saying we don't have the replacement yet. Or maybe you're going to go to sleep and wake up in the middle of the morning. And in the middle of the night, your phone's blown up with 48 text messages because they attacked.
Yep.
But if you attack, what are you attacking for? That's going to be the question. Is the attack just to attack like the nuclear sites? Is that the attack? Or is the attack with an outcome? An attack with an outcome is what? A change. An attack just to attack is not anything. And then you're seeing money leaving the country. Yep. Did you see the article about Khamenei's son? Type in Khamenei. By this time, Rob is professional at spelling Khamenei. Look at the way he spells Khamenei's son. And then put billions. put billions.
Is that the video, Pat?
Let me see if this is it. Right there. That's the one. What is that $1.5 billion report? Report from mid-January, alleged Mojtaba Khamenei, son of Iran's supreme ruler, moved substantial funds, around $320 million to $28 million to Dubai amidst broader transfer to potentially billions out of Iran. Some are saying $1.5 billion. Shown regime officials lack confidence in the economy, while specific link to him to Dubai. Direct Qatar dealings aren't detailed in these reports, though his wealth is said to be roughly $3 billion. Go a little bit lower, Rob. There was an article down there as well. Go a little bit lower right there. What is that one right there? That's a different one. Okay. Yeah, so maybe, rumors are being made that money is being moved. Scott Besson said money is being moved.
Yeah,
so if they're moving that kind of money, why are they moving money? Maybe they're looking at other options. I don't know. And again, there's everything you see. There's stuff that you don't see that's going on behind closed doors. Okay?
Yep. The majority.
The majority, yes. But there's a reason why Iran has turned off the internet for this long. There's a reason why they've done that. They're either cleaning the house and killing everybody, okay, left and right, or they're not wanting people to see the momentum that some other people around the world are having with what's going on in Iran. If you go to Canada, Rob, if you play that clip in Canada, this is 100,000 Canadians protesting in the snow. I don't think this is the one, Rob. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Go to my Twitter account. If you go to my Twitter account, you'll see this is 100,000 Canadians, by the way.
These are true believers.
Yeah, and watch this. Look at this.
Yeah.
And those
Look
are the
at
right
this.
flags. Are they, Pat?
100,000.
Wow. Good for them.
Let's face it, most of the insurance industry can feel a bit prehistoric, impersonal, and confusing. And you could be one catastrophe away from more carriers leaving your city, county, or state, leaving you with fewer options than ever.
That's where Kin is different. Hurricanes, fires, floods. Kin was built precisely for that, and we are here to stay.
Getting a quote is super easy, and you can do it right now from your phone. Visit kin.com or call Kin today.
We're focused, of course, in America on the external. What's Trump going to do? What was he talking to was it Lindsey Graham? Or was it J.D. Vance? Okay, there's the external pressure that may be coming. But the internal pressure is really what may break or break the machine. Just some quick numbers for you, especially the young people that have grown up with a phone in their hand. The misery index, one of the highest in the world. GDP per capita, the average person makes $5,000 a year. Unemployment is over 10 to 20% when it comes to the youth. Inflation, 48% just this year alone. The currency's been devalued 50% just this year alone. The poverty line, up to 25 to 50% of the country lives below the poverty line. And on top of all that, there's very little clean drinking water. So when you see these protests in Iran, I'll ask you guys a question who think it's fake. What good could they be cheering for? There's nothing good coming out of Iran, and all the money that they've invested in their nuclear program and all the proxy war terrorists have all just been completely dismantled in the last 6 months. What good news is coming out of Iran? Did their soccer team do well or something like that? There's nothing good coming out of Iran, unfortunately.
Again, at any time, you could hear a surprise news because they're still, bracing for impact. At any time with Trump, you could expect anything to happen where others could be ready for an attack. Till then, nothing's happened yet. A lot of Iranians are disappointed. We'll see what happens next. Okay, let's get to the next story. And, Ilan, I'm coming to you with this one here. Israel objects to U.S. announcement of leaders who will help oversee next steps in Gaza. Okay, so this is kind of interesting what's going on here. Some people are confused with this. Some like it. Let me read it to you. Israel's government is objecting to the White House announcement of leaders who will play a role in overseeing the next steps in Gaza as the ceasefire moves into its challenging second phase. The rare criticism from Israel of its close ally in Washington said Gaza Executive Committee was not coordinated with Israel and is contrary to its policy without details. Saturday's statement also said Prime Minister Netanyahu has told the foreign minister to contact Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The committee announced by White House on Friday included no Israeli officials, but as an Israeli businessman, billionaire Yakir Gabay. Other members announced so far include two of U.S. President Trump's good friends, a former British Prime Minister, U.S. general, and a representative of several Middle Eastern governments. The White House said the executive committee will carry out the vision of Trump-led the Board of Peace, whose members have not yet been named. The executive committee's members include Rubio, Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair, Apollo Global Management CEO Mark Rowan, World Bank President Ajay Banga, Trump's Deputy National Security Director Advisor Robert Gabriel. Ilan, strange story here. What do you think about this?
Number one, if you wanted proof that Israel and Zionists don't control the United States, they're definitely not getting what they want. So from the start of this, I've always thought, what's the solution in Gaza? And I've always believed that after this ends, Israel gave back Gaza in 2005. The goal was not to take it back again. I think that fundamentally there has to be a proxy government set up. I interviewed a Palestinian politician a while back, about a year ago, and he said something very interesting. He said the war can be summed up, and the entire conflict can be summed up in two words, one word for each side. On the Israeli side, it's security. On the Palestinian side, it's autonomy. In other words, they do have to have an opportunity to achieve autonomy, but it has to secure Israel. It has to make Israel feel like they are safe, because this is a perpetual cycle. It's not going to come to an end. Do I have problems with like Turkey being on the board? Yes. But do I believe that there has to be an opportunity for the Palestinians to have some form of self-determination where Israel isn't involved while maintaining security for Israel, the most fundamental part of it all? Both sides get what they want. Long term, there has to be an outcome where we're not in this continued perpetual cycle of violence and war. It's just not helping stabilize the region at all. So this is a functional approach. Israel, to me, shouldn't be involved in that end of things. And I honestly, I don't have that big a problem with it.
Adam.
Yeah, I'd love to see Gaza have elections. When's the last time Gaza had elections? They voted in Hamas in 2005. Let me know how that turned out. By the way, Hamas ended up just killing the Palestinian Authority, and then they fled to the West Bank. And then you have, what's his name, Mahmoud Abbas, who's on his 20-something year after supposedly only be there a 4-year election. So please, have elections. For that matter, what other countries in the Middle East have elections that aren't sham elections? So, yeah, have elections. By the way, whether you like Netanyahu or not is irrelevant. No Democratic leader in the history of the current world right now has been elected more times than him. I'll say that again. Nobody's won more elections than Bibi. You may like him, you may not like him, but what matters is the people of Israel like him.
Hi, Mom. If it wasn't for you and your study habits, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow. Winning and kept winning. At what point would we say, yeah, who cares what the left say? This guy's a winner. So I'll double down on this. Would you rather be feared and respected or liked and everyone thinks you're a nice guy? In my opinion, Israel's sick and tired of trying to appease people and be liked. They just kicked everyone's butt in the Middle East, and they're basically saying, who's next? And in my opinion, nobody wants that smoke. And America and Israel, when they're aligned, the world is a lot better and safer place.
So, but what do you think about the fact that they're not having Israel participate in the rebuilding